Hello everybody and welcome. Thank you for joining us for this video tutorial. Today we're going to be doing something really fun, but I wanted to mention that this video is part of our new series, which is staying creative at home with minimal art supplies or supplies in general. So for this project we're going to be making an origami coqui. It might look like a frog to you, but we are calling it a coqui, and that's particularly important for us in this project since we are continuing to promote staying creative at home for our Latino community and the community in general. So feel free to join in on this fun activity. So we are going to be using the origami technique to make this beautiful little coqui. But before that, why are we creating a coqui, right? So throughout Latin America and the Caribbean, all our different Latin American people, we have different ways to identify with our heritage or parts of our heritage that really contribute to our identity. And a perfect example of this is the coqui. All of my Puerto Rican friends, particularly the first friend that I made when I came to the United States, his name is Luis Ponce de Leon. So hello, Luis. He was the first one that told me about the coqui, and it was this beautiful little kind of brownish, kind of yellowish frog that lives in Puerto Rico and is almost exclusively to Puerto Rico, I believe, or it is exclusive to Puerto Rico. And they're really well known because they make this beautiful little sound that sounds like coqui, coqui. And so today we're going to pay tribute to our Puerto Rican little frogs named the coqui, and we're going to be using origami as a technique. And origami, as you know, is originated from Japan. But we're gonna pay a little bit tribute by means of a Japanese art form to the coqui of the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. So here we go. The main focus of this series is to use minimal art supplies, right? Not that we don't want to use many art supplies, but since we are all being socially conscious by practicing social isolation, right? We're home at probably for a long extended period of time, oftentimes with little ones. So our projects are going to help us get through these long days, these long weeks, finding ways to stay entertained. And this project is very easy to do, and it might be a fun activity for the whole family to get involved around. I will recommend that one of the main ingredients or the main art or materials or the main thing that you need for this project is a little bit of patience and perseverance, because you do have to follow step by step, and you have to be careful when you do the steps. They are easy, but you just have to take care when doing them. So what materials do you really need for this? And it's really simple. All you need is paper. You just need a sheet of paper. So they sell origami paper, which already comes pre-cut in this square form. And what's neat about origami paper is that it's two-sided or has two colors. So they come in one color on the other side is white, or sometimes they have really neat patterns. But you might not have origami paper at home. So we're gonna put that aside. I'm going to show you that all you really need is a piece of regular paper. This is copy paper or printer paper. You can even use a piece of paper from a loose leaf notebook, or if you have the pack of paper for school supplies, that will work out really well. It doesn't even matter if it has the holes on the side. But here I have a piece of copy paper, but we do need it to be square. So in order for us to transform this piece of paper into a square piece, I'm going to show you that, and that's going to be our first step for the project. If you have scissors, that would help with this step, but in terms of materials, all you really need is paper. So to make our first, or prepare our paper, I should say, for us to do the project, I'm going to take either corner and I'm going to bring it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to align the top edge with the side until I'm making the tip of the paper make a little pointy end. Okay. Once I notice that I have my edges lined up, I'm going to hold it in place, and then I'm going to use my thumb to bring this down. Okay. So by cutting along this line, I'm going to get rid of this section, and I will transform my paper into a square. And I have a piece prepared already, but I'll back up here. So by folding this down, aligning my edges, what I'm doing is I'm basically transforming my paper into a square. As you can see, I've already pre-cut this one. So I'm going to cut through the bottom line or the bottom edge, and I'm going to get rid of the extra. I'm going to move that to the side. And now I have a big square piece of paper, and I'm ready to proceed with the project. All right, so now that we're ready, let's talk about some very important aspects of origami. So just like before, I made sure that my edges were lined up. That is crucial. It's very important for any time you're doing any origami projects, whether it be this Coqui or anything in the future. It's just good advice. Take your time and make sure you're lining up your edges. All right, so my first official fold, because origami is all based on folds, you are going to be using folds to transform this flat piece of paper into a three-dimensional object. In this case, we're doing our little Coqui. So for my first official fold, I'm going to be taking my top edge, bringing it down to the bottom, like so. Move up a little bit so I'm centered. I'm going to take care in making sure that my edges are lined up. I'm going to push up, and I'm simply going to go out from the center, out on both sides. All right. If your paper shifts a little bit, no worries. Just kind of realign it and retrace your fold. All right. So now we've taken our square piece of paper and we folded it in half, transforming it into a rectangle. But we've also created 2 layers, which are very important for our project. So again, keep in mind that you are making your edges line up because it's a very important part of the entire process. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take this side and we're going to overlap it to this side, again making sure that our edges line up, and we are essentially just folding it in half. All right, I'm going to hold it in place so it doesn't shift on me. All right, now I'm holding it, and I'm going to start from the center. I'm going to push up, and I'm going to drag this down, and now I've created a center line for myself. You know, something that's really interesting about paper is that it has memory. And I don't mean that you can write down your memories on it. Paper can remain flat forever. But once you create a fold, the paper will now remember that fold forever because it's been ingrained in it. So and that's very interesting attribute that paper has. All right, for our next fold, we are going to create a series of X's. We're going to create an X here and an X here. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to bring the outer top point in to the lower inner corner of the center line. All right, so here I go. I'm going to bring this down. Don't let your paper shift at you. And you're going to create that fold there. Again, creating that memory for the paper. You're going to open it back up. And you're going to repeat this by bringing the lower corner towards the top. And once you have it there, you're going to hold it in place. And we're going to trace that. Let's press it down. And as you can see, we have our first X there. We're going to repeat this process on the other side. There we go. We're going to open it up. We're going to bring this bottom point towards the top on the inside. As you can see, I'm also continuing to take care. Be careful that I am aligning my edges. And there we go. So now I have the 2 X's that I need. And again, what we're doing is we're giving this paper memory. All right, we're ingraining the Coqui's DNA into this paper. All right, the next step is very easy. We're going to take this outer edge and I'm going to fold this section in half by bringing this outer edge into this center fold. and just bring it over the top. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. And we can open that up again. And I'm going to repeat that same step on the other side. I'm going to bring the outer edge towards the center. Press down. And here we go. So now we've put quite a bit of memory into this paper. The next step is very interesting, and I want to walk you through this a little bit slower because it's really kind of magical, because we're going to transform this square into a triangle. And the way you do that is by taking your pointer finger and your thumb, and you're going to grab kind of like this middle line that goes through that X, and you're going to start bringing this up. And I'm going to take this finger and I'm going to put a little pressure here as I bring this two edges up, because what that's going to allow me to do is start to create this cone shape. You see that? It's kind of like a little cone shape. And as I'm doing that, as I bring this up, I'm going to be dragging them. I'm going to be pulling it towards the center of this paper, like so. Okay. Now you might notice that this is not folding correctly. So what you do is just going to put a little bit of pressure there. Sometimes paper can be a little bit stubborn, just like us. So we need a little push in the right direction. But again, with a little patience and perseverance, we're going to get through anything. All right, and here we go. So now I've created a triangle. And I'm going to repeat that same step on the other side. So again, I'm going to take my pointer finger or index and my thumb, and I'm going to start pulling this up while I put a little bit of resistance on the outer edge, and I bring it towards the center. All right, and now I'm going to push this down. So now we've transformed our rectangle into this diamond shape. All right, for the next step, it's very simple. We're going to take this whole entire shape and we're going to rotate it. So now we have our diamond shape that has this horizontal line going through the middle. And as you can see, that horizontal line is made up of all the different layers of paper that we've been folding. All right, so the next couple of steps, we're a little friend here. Our next couple of steps are very, very important because they're going to form the legs of our coqui. All right, and they're very easy to do. So I'm going to take this outer point, as you can see, is double, right? Because it has the back part and this top part. But I'm going to take this outer point and I'm going to bring it to meet up with this top point of the triangle. So I'm going to bring it up and do that. So I'm kind of using that as my guide, and also kind of imagining a center line here. All right, so here we go. I'm going to push this up, hold it in place, and press down, creating that fold. And I will repeat that same step on the other side. I will take this outer point, I'm going to bring it up, and now it's a little bit easier since I have the other side to help me figure out where the center is. All right, and there we go. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to rotate the project, and I'm going to create the same steps on the other side. So again, I'm going to take this outer point, I'm going to bring it up. At this point, our project is very symmetrical, meaning that is the same on either side, left and right, and almost top and bottom. I'm going to create this fold and then repeat on the other side. Again, bringing this outer point towards the top, like so. As you can see, we've added to our large diamond shape, we created two smaller diamond shapes. All right, and it looks pretty neat, but we're not done yet. All right, so the next step, we're going to define the legs of the coqui. And the way we do that is by bringing the top towards the outside. So we're not coming back down again. What we're going to do is we're going to create another fold right about here. Okay? And the way you do that is you're going to line up this inner edge with this edge right here, with the outer edge of the smaller triangle. And we're going to take care, or be careful, in doing that. All right, so as you can see, our first leg is done. All right, and we're going to repeat that same step on the other side. Again, we are going to bring this edge and line it up with this one right here. And there we go. So we have one set of legs done. In order for making it a little bit easier, I'm just going to rotate this and I'm going to repeat the same step and do it on the other side. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take this edge and bring it down to that one. Like so. And then one last time. All right, let's stop there for a second. So I think it's pretty neat, and it's important for you to stop and take a look at your project, because essentially we've created this X shape on the bottom of the coqui, and that X shape is very important because those are the legs. So if you arrive at this point and you don't have that X, please pause and review the steps, retrace your steps, and make sure that you can arrive at this point. Otherwise, the rest of the coqui will not turn out. All right, so the following steps is to take the whole project and you're going to flip it on its to the other side. All right, so now you basically have this kind of bit of a table that you've created. All right, so if your project looks like this and like this on the bottom side, you're in good shape and you're ready to proceed to the next steps. All right, so the next step is when we start to define the body of the coqui. We've created the legs and now we're going to define the body. And that's going to be pretty easy to do as well. You're going to use an imaginary line from one point to the other. And what you will do is you're going to take this point, you're going to bring it towards the center of the body. Okay, so it helps if you put a little bit of pressure here. You don't want to go over, like I said, you kind of want to imagine there's a center line here, and you're going to bring this over towards the center, then line it up, put a little bit of pressure, and create that fold. You're going to repeat that on the other side. See that? All right. So guess what? This shape kind of looks like an arrowhead. Is actually our head of the coqui. Is the head of the coqui, and we are going to finish off forming the body by taking this triangular shape and we're going to fold it up towards the top. All right, and the way you do that is you bring it up. But I do want to point out that you'll notice that you have these corners that are being formed by the bottom legs or the hind legs, and you don't want to fold beyond that. So you're going to use that as your your stop. So you see those corners right here? You're going to use that as your stop or your guide to where you should create the next fold, like so. Okay? Now you might have noticed that I'm putting a little bit of extra pressure on my paper now because it's kind of thick now. We've created so many folds that that thin piece of paper now it's pretty thick. So you have to kind of press into it a little bit in order for it to retain that memory or the fold that you want it to have. All right. And then the next step to kind of finish up the shape of the body is we've created these pockets from our series of folds. as you can see. And we have these corners, and what we're going to do is we're going to tuck those corners into those pockets, like so. I'm going to take one on the right side and then the other one on the left side. And here we go. So right now we essentially have that shape of the coqui. But in order to finish up the coqui, because you know coquis are very good jumpers, we're going to flip our project on his back, so his belly should be up right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold it right down the middle, so like so. And it'll kind of have a natural line that it wants to follow because it's thinner there. So you just simply are going to bring the bottom towards the top. All right, and our next fold is actually our last fold, and our project will be complete. But it's going to be the most difficult fold. So here, I want to remind you, I want to let you know that if you're working on this project with young ones, this might be a point where you might need to give them a little bit of a hand, since this will be the most difficult fold. Not because it's complicated, but it's going to be physically difficult since there's so much paper buildup that you will want to give them a little hand. So all we really need to do is bring this edge towards the bottom, so we essentially are folding this section in half. But like I said, because the paper now is pretty thick, it's going to give you quite a bit of resistance. But here we go. Now we push it down, and we've created a little bit of a spring for our coqui. And now our coqui is complete. It's ready to play with all these little other friends that we've created. As you can see, they're multiplying like crazy here, and we have quite a few of them. Now the fun part of this project is that these little coquis actually do jump, and the way you make them jump is by taking your index finger, you put it on the back edge, you press down, and then you let them kind of slide out, and they make a really pretty neat hop. So this project is fun for the whole family. Everybody can create a coqui and then have coqui races, have a little bit of a fun competition, see who can jump the farthest. Sometimes if you kind of get the technique just right, you can make them flips, so you can get really, really creative. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed this fun activity that you can do while practicing social isolation with very minimal art supplies. As a matter of fact, you only need a sheet of paper. We hope that you'll consider doing this project and then sharing your results, your coqui, on social media with us on Facebook and Instagram at Latino Arts Inc. Or you can subscribe to our new YouTube page, our YouTube channel at Latino Arts Inc. Look us up. We are posting this video tutorial along with other tutorials there over the next few weeks to keep the family entertained, to keep young ones at home entertained, and hopefully, like I said, we would love to see your projects complete and sharing with us on social media. Thank you again for joining us and tuning in. Please feel free to send us messages of projects that you might want to see us do. Till then, till next time, we hope you enjoy this one, and please stay safe, please stay indoors, and let's all do our part so we can come out positive on the other side of this situation. Thank you very much. Have a great day.